So this is 2002 to 2003, my sophomore year of college, and Travis Stevens, his close friend back then. He had met a female on, I'm guessing, Black Planet, named Yolanda, and she had a friend named Anita. Yeah, Anita, and they all lived in Lafayette, and so I did like a. They wanted to come to the August 31st um, football game, McNeese versus Grambling, and so I did like a meet and greet like before they came out here. So I went to Anita's house in Lafayette, and yeah, I remember she was very beautiful, and she was getting her hair done, and I remember her sitting on the floor and some chick sitting behind her. I remember walking inside the house, and that's, I guess, the dude was for the other chick or whatever. Like a real cool college looking kid, like his glasses or whatnot. You know, I don't know his name. He was leaving when I was coming in or whatnot. And then Kenneth had his tickets. I had my tickets, but Dennis needed to get some tickets. And so uh, so this has been Ray wasn't going to the game, and Ray get like free tickets from being a student at McNeese, and he sold this ticket to Dennis, and which is wrong, but whatever. And I want to say like the tickets were like $15. He sold it to Dennis for like $30, and not only that, he made like Dennis drive. Like I guess I don't know if Ray was like in Software our way. I don't know. He was like one of those little close surrounding cities. He made Dennis drive from his from Dennis' apartment to Ray to even buy the ticket, whatever. And I didn't know the rules at this time that you can get in free after halftime even without a ticket, whatever. But we had to experience the whole show, you know. So Dennis did what he had to do to go get the ticket, whatever. And while Dennis was going to get the ticket from Ray, we was inside Dennis' apartment because Dennis had moved from the Cole had moved out, and Dennis had moved from a 2 bedroom to a 1 bedroom apartment, still in Pecan Acres or whatnot. And so we were all over there. So it was Dennis, Kenneth, and I, and then there was Yolanda, Anita, and Anita's older sister. The Yolanda was for Travis, Anita was for me, not saying I own them, whatnot, and the other chick, whatever. So they came meet us at Dennis' apartment, whatnot. And so Dennis ended up leaving, and the girl that Travis was supposed to meet up with, Yolanda, she was like, "My name is Yolanda with a Y." It was funny at the moment because everybody knew Yolanda started with a Y or whatever. And so they left. I don't know where they went, and and then I guess they went to the game maybe earlier than we were there because they got there before we did. And so once Dennis made it back, Dennis Kennedy and I all left to go to the McNeese Grambling game at McNeese, and so I was just like, if anything could happen tonight, just don't let it. Because Megan and I was like talking at this time, you know, not like dating, but like just talking, you know. And she's very possessive. Doesn't matter if we date or not, she still owns me somehow. And I was like, please don't see Megan at this football game because Megan was going to McNeese at this time, and her friend Didi and Juliet was also going to McNeese at this time. And we walked inside the football game. I'm so excited, you know, with my two friends, you know. I got three chicks at the end of the game or whatnot, you know. And first person we see when walks out that game is Megan. Megan's walking dead towards us, and it's a friend Didi and Julia like right behind us. And we inside the stadium or whatnot, and then Megan was like, what did she say? She says, "This game is stupid. I'm about to leave," and I was like, "Oh, thank God," you know. Because like she would have ruined that whole experience for us or whatnot. And then end up watching them leaving or whatnot. And So Dennis, Kenneth, and I all stuck together, and the three chicks they stayed in their own little spot. I guess they respected. Maybe they was looking for guys too. I don't know, whatever. But Travis already wasn't at the game, and so what was that name? Kenneth and I came up with this term called icebreakers. It was named after this gum, you know. And we were saying like every time we see a chick, we're gonna break the ice, you know, like get the talk, like the talking points or whatever, on whatever, you know, just open up and break the ice for communication or whatnot. And so we even bought some icebreaker gums before. I remember I was going to the gas station to get some icebreaker gums just to solidify our little cool scheme we had going on, you know. And then one time a girl like I remember walking, we was making a circle as usual, and that is one girl started talking to me. And she had like a group of girls, and like no matter what Dennis and Ken would try to say, they kept like asking me questions, like asking questions about Jared and whatnot. And then so we ended up passing them. I don't know if we exchanged numbers or whatnot. And then a group of girls reversed the game on Kenneth and I because they broke the ice with us. They looked at us and they were like, "Hey, what's your name?" Blah blah blah. And Kenneth just froze, man. I was like, Kenneth. I'm a very quiet dude, you know. But Kenneth's a talker, you know. And so and then it was like, I'm not gonna waste my time talking to these chicks. All they want to do is know what Jerry's up to or whatnot. And yeah, so they broke the ice with us, and Kenneth froze up, and yeah, that led to absolutely nowhere. And I forgive you, Kenneth. You know, yeah, we should have done a whole lot more with that. We seen a guy in the suit who went to every single McNeese football game. He just wore a suit and he had like this really cool like stride walk. I don't know why. This was probably like 20 something years old, and it was hot. Dressed up inside of a suit, and Ray was blowing up my phone. Travis was blowing up my phone because it was about to get like to the fourth quarter. It's like the end of the game or whatnot, and and I knew they wanted to meet the chicks. You know, like Ray wanted to meet like the older sister or whatnot, or if he even knew that they was with him. I know he knew I was with chicks or whatnot. And Travis wanted to meet Yolanda because that was the whole setup. You know, after the game, Anita and I and her sister and Yolanda was all supposed to go meet Travis or whatnot. But I was like, man, I don't want to mess this up for Dennis and Kenneth because they don't get a. Sorry to put this out there. They don't get a lot of females, you know. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna give them this night with just us three, whatever, you know. Just wanted to be 3-3, just it was perfect, whatever. So I didn't answer like any of like Travis calls or Ray calls, you know. My bad, Travis or Ray, if y'all ever watch this. But y'all get a lot of females, and I wanted my friends that didn't talk to females at night, you know. And so we linked back up with the three chicks, and they were like, "Oh, what do y'all want to do?" You know. And I was like, "Well, let's go get something to eat." And so we all went to Whataburger, and I don't know, they were making fun of like this white person or whatnot, and Dennis made this joke, and he took like the napkins, and he made like a KKK hat. And he was like, "Oh, you don't know what kind of people live here." And he put like his KKK hat on. He made like this joke, whatever. It was funny. It was like one of the funniest jokes. It was one of the funniest things the whole night, you know. And then Heather kept calling me, and she was with like two or three other girls, and she wanted to meet me, Dennis and Kenneth as well. And I remember looking at Dennis. I was like, "Dude, we got a problem." He was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Bro, we got too many females." I was like, "We got these three here, then Heather and blah blah blah." When it means, I said, we can't talk to them all, you know." And so I ended up telling Heather to meet me like by the door of Waterburg because I didn't want them to come inside and talk to us or whatnot. And then because that would help mess up the whole little game, whatever that we had going on. And yeah, I ended up getting them to made up something, and just so they could leave, and it'll just be the six of us or whatnot. And so we leave Whataburger and we head over. So it's like, what y'all want to do after this? I was like, well, we can head to the beach or whatnot, you know. And Kenna was driving. I was inside the car, and Anita's inside the car, and Dennis hopped inside the car with Yolanda and the other sister, uh, whatever. And so we all hung out at the beach, and I was hoping that they would click with like Dennis and Kenna or whatnot, but and so Anita and I went off and started talking or whatnot, and then I was looking back over, and I still wasn't picking up Travis' phone calls. So I guess I want to say he called Yolanda, and Yolanda picked up, and she told us um, where we were at. I mean, which of course makes sense because it was Travis' chick to begin with or whatnot, you know. And so I'm looking over and I see like a shadow because it's like nighttime. I see like a shadow of a dude talking to Yolanda. So I thought it was Kenneth talking to Yolanda, and I thought Dennis was talking to the sister or whatnot. And then, but come to find out when we got back to the car, Dennis or Kenneth wasn't happy because uh, Kenneth was actually by his car doing a little Michael Jackson dance or the Screech dance, one of the two, whatever. And because she was talking to Yolanda, so Dennis didn't talk to the other chick because she was mad and wanted to go home. Cause, and then Kenneth didn't talk to Yolanda because Travis or whatever. So they weren't happy about the. I enjoyed the night, you know. Uh, but yeah, that was another one of my favorite days of my life. And yeah, since Cole had moved out of the two bedroom, um, Dennis had needed a roommate, even with his one bedroom. So I was like, you know what, I'll do it. Whatnot. Dennis not good with money. He'll admit that. I'm not saying it to rag on you, whatever, you know. But my dad wasn't having it. He was like, 'cause my dad like real good with financials. He was like, Jared, uh, how you gonna have an apartment, go to school, and take care of yourself? You know, he was like, it's just not a smart financial decision. You're not moving in with Dennis because he was ready to move that day. You know, because Dennis had came over and his brother had came over with the van so I could move all my clothes and all my stuff from my room to Dennis' apartment and whatnot. And so when Dennis' brother Marty showed up, um, Dennis was like, "Go tell your brother to get that van and leave. Jared ain't moving nowhere." And Dennis, I sat inside the room. We're just talking like, bull crap is this, you know? And my dad, I remember walking by the door and he just stared at us, he was shaking his head, and like I don't know what that boy thinking. And then you can see I was kind of down or whatever, you know, because I was excited about moving out. And the next day he was like, he said, just give it a week. In a week, if you still want to decide you can move, whatever like that. So a week passed, and I was ready. And I remember my mom being like, Jerry, you gonna keep me here with your daddy? I was like, well, I gotta move out, you know. And my dad actually helped me move. And Dennis and I did like, we had like this little dance. We go like this, a little happy dance or whatnot. We did inside the car in front of his truck. He had all this stuff. We was driving to Pecan Acres, so drop it off, whatever. And I was sleeping on this pull-out couch with like this broken spring. I remember like my back, the right side of my back, depending on where I was sleeping, either the right side of my back was hurting or my left side of my back was hurting because that spring was poking me inside of my back, you know. And I remember like every time the rent came up, I always had an excuse. I need to move out, you know, because I thought like if I leave on the rent day, then he can't charge me for rent, you know. And Dennis would always show up to my parents' house, and he'll be like, where the money at? You know, you end up giving him the money, then I'll go back. I remember making excuses like, oh, I have to buy a jacket. I bought this really cool white jacket. I still had enough money to pay for the rent, but I just wanted to use it as an excuse to to be able to not pay the rent, you know. And but I paid every single month, and we didn't have cable, and so we had like the three channels, like PBS, or probably like Channel 9, some other staticky. thing. But I remember watching like every single day. They had like a DC sniper, and just killing people, you know. And every day I was like, man. Well, Dennis, I was like, man, that white dude will get caught one day. Ended up being a black guy. We was like shocked, you know. It was like, what the hell? A black sniper serial killer, you know, it doesn't even make sense, you know. We started our thing called Movie Time, where once a week, Dennis will pick out a movie. The next week, I'll pick out a movie and go vice versa, whatever like that. And we both just have to watch it or whatnot, you know. And then after the movie, we'll deep dive like the characters and the meaning like of the movie, you know, who we related to the most. Exact same thing from last year that my arts appreciation professor had us to do when we watched the Royal Tenenbaums or whatnot. And oh yeah, I remember Dennis Eagle breaking down while him and Ken was driving home. I want to say that was like on McNeese Street, whatever. And Dennis couldn't afford. He had to pick one, either afford the rent or fix his car. And of course, there's no point in having a apartment if you don't even have a car, you know. So we had to move out. He moved back to his pop's house. I moved back to my parents' house, and I was like 19 back in my parents' house. You know, my mom still telling me to get off the phone when it's time to go to bed, to go to school. You know, and I remember one day I called Dennis. I was fed up, man. I was like, Dennis. I called him, and he was like, Jared, you called the wrong person, because I'll never really like call Dennis just like out the blue, whatever like that. And I was like, nah, man. I called the right person. I said, bro, we got to get an apartment. I got to get out of my mom's house. And I just remember my mom like yelling in the background. She's like, it's 12 a.m. on a school night. Get off that phone and go to bed. I'm like, bro, I'm like 19 years old in college, and I got to get off the phone. I said, this can't be life, you know. And we'll end up meeting at the bingo hall on Highway 14 to plan our next exit to get out of. He had to get out of Pop's house. So I had to get out of Mom's and Pop's house. You know. Oh yeah, I remember driving to Lamar, driving back and forth to Texas. I had these two cops in Sulphur, and they would stop me like almost every day, and like they were doing it for like no reason, you know. But it was affecting me because like I was missing like tests because I was being like, let's say like if I woke up at 8 to get there like 9:30 whatever, you know, to make it to my first class. When I would get pulled over, I would be missing like 30 minutes of school, waiting on them to go through the whole little bull crap of seeing if I have drugs inside the car, which I never had drugs inside the car. And but let's say the test started at 9 o'clock, I would miss the whole test, you know. And then yeah, once it was affecting my grades, whatever like that, with their little stop and search car every time, and I just told my mom. And like I said, my mom was a player about education, so she called the Sulphur Police Department, and she was like, "These two guys are messing with my son every single morning. All he's doing is trying to go to school and come back home or whatnot." And yeah, after that, I had no more problems with either of those two cops. That was so annoying, though. I had this DVD with the Kappa Beach Party, and I told Kennedy and Dennis, I was like, man, we should go to one of these things, like right there inside Galveston, you know? And so April came up, so like April 14th or whatnot, April 13th, whatever day it was, like mid-April, whatever. And Kenna got out of school because it was that Friday. He was going to McNeese. And he picked Dennis and me up to go to the Kappa Beach Party. And I remember we listened to R. Kelly, Chocolate Factory, and song Two Gorillas in the Jungle Making Love. They know. It was funny. We took the ferry, and I remember Dennis Pops was calling him, and he couldn't answer. And I couldn't answer any phone calls myself because I was with Centennial, and at that time, once you leave Texas, you was considered roaming. You get like roaming charges. It's not like today where it just doesn't matter. Long distance is free or whatnot, you know. And I had a video camera that I had bought, and Dennis was supposed to be the filmographer, like get like all the good stuff. But that boy sucked. Like it wasn't even funny. Like He wanted to see like everything with like his eyes, so he'll hold the camera down like this, and all he was filming was like this, like getting everybody. You want to know the freshest shoes of 2003 Kappa Beach Party? Yeah, that's you watch it, you watch that tape. And so I remember so oh yeah, I got kind of mad because I kept looking at the film like what is he getting, you know? And and uh and I was looking at it and I was just seeing like a whole bunch of shoes or whatnot. And then I was like, man, just give me the camera. And for some reason he felt power with that camera. And he wanted to keep the camera. And he was like, I promise, Jay, I'm gonna get the best film or whatnot, you know. And of course, it still sucked because he was still trying to look with his real eyes, whatever like that. But it was whatever, you know. And so that night, um, then we had to leave like about like let's say like about 8 o'clock. Made it back home or whatnot because Dennis had to be to work at let's say like 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock that night or whatever. And I went back home. He was working at the Waffle Iron, and so we started driving back, and we wanted to stop by and get something to eat. You know, so it's all inside Texas, and still inside Texas after getting off the ferry and whatnot. And we stopped by McDonald's, and we're all tired, you know. And Ken was driving, and Kay said, "I know how to get back to Lake Charles. We're cool." So we were like, "Man, we're gonna take us a little nap," you know. And this is like again, like no Google's map area, you know. And Dennis and I started to take our like little naps or whatever, and something told us just to wake up, you know. And when I woke up, I seen like El Paso, Texas, 600, 800 miles or so, whatever the number was. But it was like we was heading towards El Paso, like heading like west, like was supposed to be heading. We were supposed to be heading east. It was heading west or whatnot. And then Dennis woke up and he was like, "Kay, we're going the wrong way." And he said, "Man, y'all was asleep, so I just drove." So I was like, "Oh my god." Well, anyway, we made it back home safely, whatever. And Dennis went straight to work. He went to go change and went to work or whatnot. And then I drove to Waffle Iron just to chill with Dennis at work and talk about the capital, whatever, the whole little situation. Then I went home and got me some good sleep because we was both still tired, but Dennis had to go to work, whatever. And then so like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., whatever came around. And I remember I told Ray that morning when I woke up, I was like, bro, we went to the Kappa Beach Party yesterday and that thing was amazing. So Ray was like, man, I wanna roll, you know, go to the Kappa Beach Party that set, cause it was that Friday and that Saturday. He was like, I wanna roll to the Kappa Beach Party with y'all. So I was like, all right, cool, cool. And so Ray always have to be with a crew. So Ray got Terry to come with him. And so that Saturday, Ray picked up Terry. I drove to. They followed me to Dennis' house inside of my car or whatnot, because Dennis was coming with me. I wasn't. Ray and Terry had their own little thing, you know. Like they was already clicked like real tight or whatever, because Ray was dating his sister Portia, and I wanted to be with Dennis again, so I went. I went to Dennis' house, and I was like, Dennis, get ready. We're going back to the Kappa. Dennis was like, I haven't slept at all. Dennis was like cozy, man. Dennis was like probably like a good 20, 30 minutes into his little sleep or whatnot. And then I started picking out Dennis' clothes for him. I said, I'm going to drive, you know, uh, and you can just sleep inside the car, bro. And so he, Dennis, even though it was like, well, like spring was still hot in Lake Charles and in Galveston. Dennis had like this favorite sweater that he wore and these grayish looking jeans. It was probably like denim jeans, but ended up turning gray after he wore them so much, you know, in his boots. And so I got all his little favorite clothes that I knew he would like to wear, or whatever like that. And yeah, he got dressed or whatever like that. He was being a really good friend, you know, because he really didn't have to come. Um, so Dennis' father's like very protective. Like he barely let Dennis go like down the street, you know. And so Dennis made up a story to his dad. He was saying that a girl who went to high school with him and Ray, Terry, and I and him were all planning this surprise party, you know. And so his pops was like, okay, okay. And I don't know if his pops felt it was right or not, but I could see like something inside of him. But he was like, I'm letting my boy go out, you know. And so we all go outside, and Ray was like, "Man, tell Dennis Pops is outside this song." So Ray, Terry, and I, Dennis Pops is all outside at this song. And Dennis was walking outside, and Ray was like, "Man, hurry up, we're gonna miss the ferry." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, if this girl birthday party, because I think he said the birthday party is like in Sulphur, you don't need no ferry to get from Lake Charles to Sulphur or whatnot. And luckily, Dennis' dad didn't hear what Ray said, you know. But I remember Dennis laying there cold, you know, because I had on the AC. And I gave him like a extra jacket that I think I had inside the back, just laying there so he get a cozy or whatever. When we stopped at this gas station or whatnot, we get to the Kappa Beach party, and of course it's 90 degrees, and Dennis is out there in his sweater, jeans, and boots, you know. And we start filming again. I give Dennis the camera once again, you know, to get all the action. And then I remember this was weird. It was like Ray probably can explain or Terry explained it, but I don't know. But like we started filming Ray like walking up like across the street. He was walking towards us, you know, and Ray will playing like he'll lick his lips or whatnot, like this LL Cool J type thing going on. And so I remember Terry ended up coming like a little bit behind him, and I remember Ray tapping Terry, and like without even having to say anything, Terry started licking his lips. He started doing like the LL Cool J thing. I don't know. I guess they heard that it was cool to do that, you know. But yeah, I didn't understand it. But yeah, we walked the strip, and it just wasn't the same without Kenna being there. But I remember Terry had this really cool idea. Like he would take like he wanted to start his own like clothing company type thing where he take like these jeans. Let's say like I'm wearing like a blue shirt now, and he'll cut holes inside like a light color jean or brown, whatever color jeans it was, and put the same color material on the back part of those holes. It's like patches from like the back, so it matches your shirt or whatnot. Um, Eventually, we ended up moving to. We found an apartment called Timber Ridge on Texas Street. It's like right down the street from Glad Tidings. And these apartments, they look so run down, like from the street. But on the inside, it was like huge and it was beautiful for like super cheap. So we signed our lease quick because we had to. He had to get out of Pop's house. I had to get out of Mom's house. I had to be able to stay up after 12 o'clock and stay on the phone, you know. And so I remember like the first day or two, I opened up Dennis' vent to his bedroom and stuff like closed inside there. And I closed the vent so the air wouldn't come out in his room and it'll push more heavier towards my room. We ended up finding out, yeah, that was sneaky, but whatever, you know. And I remember Dennis' coworker Lori. She worked at Wildfire with him, and she liked me, but he didn't want me to meet her. She was a beautiful girl, and so she invited herself to his birthday party. It was June 4th, 2003, at our apartment at Timber Ridge. And her and I clicked pretty quickly that night, and we became friends. Still cool to this day, maybe, maybe not. I haven't talked to her in a while. But yeah, that was a really cool night, whatever. And oh yeah, so we went to Dennis' cousin had a wedding in Houston. So Dennis asked me to come with him because I had to take my car because this little, at this time, I think he got the Scooples. This little red car, S Coupe LE or something. I call it Scooples. It's all one word to me, you know. And he asked me to come with him, and his mom said, remember his mom gave us directions to get like to the, because like the people who was getting married rented out this whole hotel, and so she was giving directions to the hotel how to get there, you know. And I remember we was driving at nighttime, and she was like, "Get on FM 1960," and without saying anything to Dennis, and Dennis saying out anything to me, both inside our heads, we thought like once we get to like one of the streets, we turn the radio station to FM 1960, and it was gonna give us directions from there. But nobody really wanted to say that out loud, you know. But we ended up going to this gas station and filling up. I remember that this 18 wheeler like U.S. postal truck, and we started laughing because it was like, God damn, like we used to use like little small postal trucks or whatever, you know. We was like, man, this dude have to open up this thing every single time, go inside here and find mail, dude. That's gonna be freaking horrible, you know. And yeah, we just laughed at that whole little thing, whatever, like that, because you have to do that at each house. That'll be a lot of work, you know. And so we make it to the hotel, and the next morning is the wedding, and that is beautiful young girl inside this dress inside church. But then it's not to keep our composure because it was like we in church, bro. You can't be thinking like we're out on the streets or back at the apartment talking, you know. And so after the wedding, we went to the reception, and we seen her and her friend. And I was getting tipsy off of Chardonnay because I didn't drink at all this time, so any small amount of alcohol made me drunk. And I remember going outside that building, whatever that's on the reception. I drunk text Lori. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I remember sending her a text or whatnot. But anyway, while I was outside, Dennis goes up to the chick, and while I was coming back inside, and Dennis goes to her, and he's like, the chick that we seen earlier at the church thing, and he was like, my homeboy really likes you. And he couldn't say he did because she'll probably like me more or whatever. And he was like, he says, but he too drunk right now to talk to you. You want to exchange numbers? And she was like, well, because she was on the Mexican side of the Hispanic, Mexican, Puerto Rican, whatever. We was go with Hispanic side of the family. And they're like, we're throwing an after party inside this room. Let's say it was like room 208 or whatever. And y'all should come meet us there, you know. And so we go to the after party, and it's full of fucking Hispanics, like from the broad side of the family. And these people could drink, man. And I just remember, like before we went inside the party, Dennis and I went to go play Soul Calibur, and I was like, I'm sobering up from the Chardonnay, you know. I wasn't feeling that tipsy or drunk anymore, you know. And so when we get there inside like the Hispanic part, like what else, like room 208, let's say it's room 208, whatever. Um, Man, they was drinking like the hard liquor. I remember that the skinny guy, his name was Mario, because I remember him saying, "It's me, Mario." He was like, "What's your name?" He was like, "Mario." I was like, "What?" He's like, "It's me, Mario." I was like, "Oh, okay." And he had like his chubbier friend who was the guy who was passing out like drinks or whatever. And I just like hard liquor. Like these people was mixing like Crown Royal with like freaking vodka, like triple double shots. And I just wanted to be the man. I was like, "Oh, if I could get tipsy off of Chardonnay and shake it off, I could shake this off." Nah. Eventually, I was like in a corner. Like I took off my shirt. I had on like this blue, uh, like wife beater type shirt, and yeah, I was just telling jokes like all by myself inside like the corner. And the chick that we were supposed to meet was sitting on the bed or whatnot, and the two girls wanted to come hang out with us inside of in our room, whatever, like that. But I was wasted. Like I had to have and um and Mario and Dennis carry me up to the room because I was like blacking out or whatnot. And all I remember was like getting inside the shower and just laying on the floor because I was too drunk to even like to come up, you know. And yeah, I was gonna sleep there. I think Dennis said something, and I ended up like getting out of there and going to like the bed and sleeping, whatever. No, I fell asleep, and then inside the morning I was taking a shower, and that's when I was laying on the floor. And Dennis had to come wake me up, and because it was time to check out or whatnot. And I remember Dennis' mom, like we were walking outside, like inside the hallway, and she was like, "I want y'all to meet cousin blah blah blah," and like let's say like we was in room, let's say like 306, that cousin whatever was down one floor on two. Let's say if it was like 212, they were like all the ranks out the room like 200. Like so a normal person it was probably like only 16 doors down, but being drunk and having a worse hangover felt like it was like 16 miles down. And yeah, we walked to that room, told the person hey or whatever, and then told the person bye, and yeah, I had like a strong hatred. I was mad that it was not her fault, it was my fault for being blacked out. She didn't even know I was really blacked out or whatever. And still having a bad hangover. And Dennis drove us home, and I just remember throwing up inside the back of my car, inside the it's like this Walmart bag, like the whole way there. And I remember Megan coming over to help me like while I was sick. Even though we wasn't dating, she still came to help me out or whatnot. And yeah, I'm just happy I survived that. I should have died. And one day I went visit Dennis at Waffle Iron, like at his job, just to talk as usual. Like I'll just go there and just chop it up with him, have a whole conversation with him while he's at work. Um, and Megan kept blowing up my phone. And I said, leave. Like I said, just like leave me alone. I'm at Waffle Iron, just talking to Dennis. And that was like the wrong thing to do. I should have never said my location or whatnot. And so next thing I don't really think anything about it. About 30 minutes or 40 minutes later, she shows up. She's like, she shows up at Waffle Iron. And so I go outside and I was just like, just leave. I seen a little RAV4. I was like, Megan, just leave. Like, we'll be having a good time. You coming over here just to mess things up. And it's like, I want to say like 3 a.m. maybe. Real early inside the morning. And I finally found an excuse. I was like, I hate being around people who smoke cigarettes. I get a headache when I'm around people who are around cigarettes, and this is just making the situation worse. And even though Megan doesn't really care about logic at all, she was like, okay, I can respect that, because she really wants to smoke a cigarette. And next thing you know, like out of the blue, she was like, you are a liar. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So like, I turned to the right and I seen Dennis walking outside. She was like, you said you hate smokers and Dennis is a smoker. And I was like, Dennis had a cigarette in his mouth. I was like, Dennis, what are you doing? Like, I've never seen you smoke a cigarette my whole life. And he was like, man, look, all the smokers over here get like extra breaks and I needed a break. And so he was coughing his lungs out because he never even smoked cigarettes or whatnot. And yeah, that just only fired Megan up and even more or whatnot. But yeah, end up leaving that leaving that place safely. And Megan called me and we talked. I want to say like about a week later or so, and I still knew she was crazy, but I wasn't trying to date Megan again. Like I know the craziness inside of her. And so I was like, nah, I just don't really want to date right now, or whatever, and like that. And my first mistake was after their wedding, when I told her where I lived to come help take care of me, because after I told her I wasn't gonna date her again, somehow my back window got busted, and I can't say it was her, but I'm about 99% sure it was her. And yeah, that was my whole 2002 to 2003.